Injuries wasn't just a footnote. All right, welcome back to the Michigan Sports Central podcast. I'm your host, Joe Chapp. The injuries and roster construction can both be the reason the Lions kind of struggled this year, okay? The Lions won 9 games, which would be a success in most other years. But injuries and roster construction potentially did matter. The reality of the situation is everyone could sit here and they could say injuries are an excuse. And to a point, you're right. There's 2 things I say about injuries. So injuries can be a reason. They do matter. Injuries wasn't just a footnote. They change how the team functioned. Every little piece matters. And I say this because every time people say injuries are an excuse, you could be right. But when you get decimated at 2 different positions, tight end and secondary, and I always thought of the secondary as the strength of the Detroit Lions defense. And when you lose Arnold, when you lose uh, Kirby Joseph, when you lose Brian Branch, and then DJ Reed was hurt as well for a good majority of the year, you kind of put yourself in a position where you are putting everything in it's on the backups. And that just doesn't seem right to me. Now, here's the thing. Injuries definitely do matter. You're talking about when you lose key defenders, that guys are put in starter roles, rotational pieces are put in starter roles. Your defensive system collapses faster than people realize because defense is a communication and chemistry type thing. So when people say injuries do not matter, they do. They do. But roster construction also matters because here's where some fans get emotional. They think if you mention roster construction, you're hating, or if you mention injuries, you're making excuses. They both can be true. And no, roster construction isn't hate, or it isn't. Injuries isn't an excuse. It's the fact. And I'm not going to sit here and overreact to the whole situation, but both can be true. Injuries did play a factor in the Detroit Lions season, and roster construction and coaching construction also was a factor in the Detroit Lions not making the playoffs. So both those are things can be true. But when I look at the totality of what the Detroit Lions were able to accomplish as a football team, able to accomplish as they did with 9 wins, it puts me in a perspective to say this could have been a lot worse. And what you have to do in this situation when you don't make the playoffs is you have to be able to accept the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is the Lions were not good enough. The Lions were not good enough to win and get in the playoffs. Period. Full stop. End of story.